All right, three more trades. It is really trade deadline is heating up, and I'm here for it. Top of the board, Toronto Maple Leafs, Washington Capitals involved in a trade that sends Joel Edmundson. He is a defenseman, pretty solid, can play both sides. Sends him to Toronto Maple Leafs. More of a third pairing defensive defenseman. He's a big dude, big, physical, bulky on the back end when you need him to be. 44 games, 1 goal, 5 assists, 6 points. He's a -5. Overall, his play's pretty solid. I haven't watched him too much recently. It's a player I need to reevaluate, reanalyze. So I don't have a whole lot of insight with this guy. I just want to be very transparent with that. But from what I have watched, because he's been on he's been on the East Coast, and I watch at least every Bruins game. And I usually pick up a few more games in the Eastern Conference as well. But overall, I think is a pretty solid pickup. And the cost, 2024 third round pick. It was the Islanders' third round pick. And a 2025, so next year's fifth round pick, that belongs to the Chicago Blackhawks. Blackhawks probably not going to be good next year either, so that's a high fifth round pick, close to that fourth round. New York Islanders can go either way. We'll see what happens with them next year. It's probably a mid third round pick. Not too bad. Not too bad. The cap hit on Joel Edmundson will be $875,000 for the Maple Leafs. Overall, I think that's pretty solid move for the Leafs. Really shores up their blue line. They have a couple guys out with injury, Giordano and Connor Timmins, I believe, which, at the very least gives you pretty solid defensive depth. So I'd be, it'll be curious to see who comes out of the lineup once everybody's healthy. Should that come to fruition, we'll see. But at the very least, the Leafs have 6 NHL caliber defensemen on their blue line, even with the injuries they have. So not too bad, not too bad. Next move, Ducks, Montreal Canadiens, or the Habs. AHL prospect deal. The Ducks acquire Jan Mysak. He was a former second-round pick in 2022, high second-round pick. He's a center left winger, and with the Laval Rockets, that's the Montreal Canadiens AHL affiliate. 48 games played, 13 goals, 7 assists, 20 points. He's a -9, 20 penalty minutes, so I'm not sure if he's, dropping the gloves or whatever, getting in fights, or if he's just taking a lot of minor penalties. Or maybe he had a couple majors thrown in there or something. I don't know. But it's curious. That's worth looking into if you're really into seeing what Jan Mysak is all about. I'm really not. I'm not going to look too far into it. I guess we're in the interest of transparency, right? Montreal Canadiens get Jacob Perreault. He's a right winger. He was the 27th pick in the same year draft, 2020. He was the first round pick by the Ducks. With the San Diego Gulls, he's played 31 games, 7 goals, 18 assists. 7 goals, 11 assists for 18 points. He's a -3, 44 penalty minutes. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. If he has, maybe one of those I don't know, maybe a major in a game misconduct or something, or if he's fighting. He's a decently sized dude. He's not little. I think he's 6 foot ish. But I remember this being a potential steal later in the draft for the Anaheim Ducks, and it hasn't really worked out. Both of these guys kind of needing a change of scenery. Both of these guys are viewed at least at the time of the draft as more high potential players. So we'll see if either of these players benefit from a change of scenery or if it's just more of the same. I think Perreault played a game or two with the Anaheim Ducks a couple years ago, but hasn't really gotten back up to that level where he's really warranted a call-up by Anaheim. So there's that. Last trade on the board, the Coyotes and the Edmonton Oilers. Oilers making moves. The Oilers get defenseman Troy Stecher. He's a right-hand shot defenseman, more of a defensive defenseman at this point in his career. Came into the league as kind of a two-way leaning offensive defenseman, but really had to adjust his game to play a lot more defense. I think he's grown quite a bit. This also isn't a player I've really done too much analysis on. I haven't gone out of my way to really analyze his play. The Coyotes are usually an intriguing team when it comes to their defensive core. I was watching Shane Gostisbehere a couple of years ago. I've been watching Matt Dumba this year. So some of these guys come to Arizona and really redevelop and refine their game, and are moved elsewhere. Troy Stecher being one of those. But yeah, I haven't done too much analysis on what Troy Stecher will be bringing to the Oilers. More likely than not, a third pairing defenseman at best. Um, he's a pretty good skater, decent passer. Has had decently successful offensive seasons, maybe like one or two, but this is a while back. So again, you're really relying on him more for defense, but at the same time, that's what the Oilers need. They need a solid blue line that can play shutdown defense. And Troy Stecher on a third pairing is definitely a part of that solution. So I think it's a good move for Edmonton in general. They also get a 2024 seventh round pick. That was Boston's. That's Boston's pick for this year. Again, late seventh round pick. You never know. Odds are of hitting on a player is very slim, very slim. But you never know. We do see players every once in a while come out of the seventh round. I'm thinking of guys like Jared Spurgeon, right? Norris caliber defenseman, right? Solid player for the Minnesota Wild. He's on the IR, getting older now. But so what do the Coyotes get in exchange? They get a 2027 fourth round pick. Now I like this because you still have to renegotiate Connor McDavid's contract, right? So if he decides to walk in free agency, and who knows what happens with Leon Draisaitl following that, and what happens to the rest of that core. If your star player that's really doing a majority of carrying the team, what happens if he leaves? This fourth round pick might look a lot better in 2027 than it will this year or next year. So I really like that move on the Coyotes. Always planning for the future. I think it's a smart move to plan ahead. Maintain, even if the Coyotes start making the playoffs and start selling pieces to make a playoff push, you have to keep having younger guys on entry-level contracts come in and contribute to the lineup. That's often how we see Stanley Cup winners go far, is because they have those prospects that come in and play really well. Right? Again, I'm forever going to reference this, but the 2011 Bruins, you had Tyler Seguin and Brad Marchand on entry-level contracts playing on the third line. Right? Those players are pretty solid players. Just going to throw that out there. Right? So you had some playoff runs where they had Torrey Krug on an entry-level contract or a $4 million contract playing with a defensive defenseman. Krug was able to kind of just let loose and play offense when he needed to and not worry too much about defense because he had Zdeno Chara as his partner who could just shut down the opponent. Dude was a massive beast. He just like spread his arms out and cover the whole ice type thing. So I like this. I like that the Coyotes still have a vision, and I like their vision is to continue to build and grow even when you have sustained success. We're obviously not at that point of success for the Coyotes just yet, but they're building towards it. I don't think it's too far away from being attainable, right? Maybe like a year or two. And from there, again, just like I said, when we saw this with Tampa, you want to have those guys keep coming into the lineup. So I do like this. It seems like a minor move, but you never know. So that's it. That's all I got. I think we're all caught up on trades. I'm sure there'll be more to come. I'm here for it. So take care, all right? Appreciate you guys.